Hi, Internet geniuses! Are you ready for some riddles that may leave you scratching your head? Let's see if you're clever enough to solve these. After each riddle, you'll get 15 seconds to solve the riddle, but if you need more time, simply pause the video. Are you ready? Let's go. Riddle number 1. Jack is the star soccer player of his club. Unfortunately, he also is a bully, and most of the club members find him rude and are not very happy with his behavior. One day after a game, the team was eating dinner at the club's cafeteria. Jack made his entrance by angrily hollering at the waiter to bring him his regular combo, number 2. Jack went and sat on the table where Harry, Oliver, and Charlie were sitting and enjoying their meals. Jack helped himself to Harry's fries without asking. Then he rudely told Charlie to buy him his favorite energy drink. Charlie left the table to buy Jack's drink with the last of his change. Meanwhile, Jack started eyeing Oliver's snack-sized apple pie. Oliver hesitantly pushed the new packet in front of Jack and told him he can have it. As soon as Jack finished half of the apple pie, Charlie came back with the energy drink and a straw. He passed it to Jack. Jack called him his trusty lackey and finished the drink immediately, then started talking down to the waiter for being so late with his food. The waiter, crossed by Jack's words, still kept his composure and served his meal. After completing his meal, Jack praises himself as a star soccer player and strutted up to the exit and fell unconscious on the floor. The police were called immediately. They declared Jack dead. The cause of his death was poison. The police have 4 suspects: Harry, Oliver, Charlie, and the waiter. There was no poison found on the fries Jack ate from Harry. The energy drink Charlie bought was also cleared of poison. The leftover of apple pie had no traces of poison either. Nor was there poison detected in Jack's meal, served by the waiter. After the crime scene forensics report, the killer was arrested from the 4 suspects. Can you tell who murdered Jack? And how was Jack poisoned? Your time starts now. Don't forget, you have an option to pause the video to think. The answer is Charlie is the killer. The straw Charlie gave Jack with the energy drink was laced with poison. Riddle number 2. The next riddle is a riddle of high intellect. It requires some deep thinking. Listen to the video, then pause and think about it if you want. You can even go back and listen to the riddle again and again. This next riddle is from one of our viewers, Sarah from Richmond Hill, Canada. She challenges everyone and says that 99% of people will not be able to solve her riddle. So good luck! Here is Sarah's challenge. A detective agency gave their special agent Jason a mission to find out who the mafia's leader is. The agency informed Jason about 5 possible suspects who might be the mob boss. 1. Jeff Norman. 2. Liam Walton. 3. Kane Hunter. 4. Carrie Graham. 5. Noel Ramsey. For the investigation, Agent Jason joined the mafia. Finally, after all his efforts, Jason was able to identify the mafia's boss. Jason decided to share this information with the head of his detective agency. So he went to a public phone booth to leave a coded message that contained all the information regarding his identity. This is what Jason's message said. Hello, David. This is Tim calling from ABC Mirror and Glass Company. I have a tracking number, 738684-3625 for your mirror shipment. Please update your boss. Sorry, I'm calling from a public phone because my cell phone dialing pad is not working. I will be visiting your company in a few days, and we will discuss about our future business. Have a nice day." After the phone call, Jason came out of the phone booth and got hit by a car, which caused him to lose his memory completely. Now the agency doesn't know who the leader is, nor do they know how to find him. They only have Agent Jason's coded message, which they now have to decode. Can you folks help the detective agency to decode Jason's message? This will give your brain a serious workout. Your time starts now. Now it's time for the answer. The answer is... Just hold on, looks like we're getting a phone call. Hello, who's this? Oh, Sarah, how are ya? Sarah's the one that came up with this riddle. She might know something. Okay. Oh, fine. Thanks for your call, Sarah. Can't wait for more of your riddles. Bye. Okay, friends, before we rush to the answer, Sarah wants to give you some clues and 15 more seconds to solve this mafia tricky riddle. Ready for your clues? Here they are. Think about the message Agent Jason left. There were 3 main parts in his message. 1. The tracking number. 2. The mirror. 3. The phone dialing. Okay, now you are ready to solve this riddle. Your clock starts again. Have you figured out the answer? Okay, it's time to reveal the boss. The first part of Jason's message is about the tracking number, 738684-3625, and the delivery of the mirror shipment. And the second part of his message was about his phone dialing pad. So you have to mirror the tracking number, which would give you 5263-486837. Then, using the phone dialing pad, correspond the numbers to letters and see if any of them match with any of the suspects' names. When you decode the letters, that should give you the mafia boss's name. 738684-3625. So the opposite is 5263-486837. The boss's name is Kane Hunter. Hope you enjoyed that. Riddle number 3. A film crew traveled to the desert to shoot a movie scene for a film production. After a day of filming, they packed up for the night. In the morning, their production bus and all their equipment inside was stolen. There was no cell phone network, so they were unable to communicate with anyone. They were relieved, though, because the next film crew was expected to arrive in 5 days. And they had more than enough food and water to last that long. So they decided to wait it out. Horrific turn of events later, on the 4th day, the director was found murdered in his tent. The next day, the new production crew arrived, and soon after, the police came to investigate this case. The police narrowed down their investigation to 5 suspects: the scriptwriter, the cameraman, producer, the hero of the film, and the lead heroine. When they were questioned about their whereabouts for the last couple of days, here are the statements taken from the suspects. A. The scriptwriter said he's been in his tent working on the script most of the time. B. The cameraman said he'd been shooting different angle shots in various locations nearby in preparations for the upcoming production team for the last 4 days. C. The producer stated that he was in his tent sick for the last 4 days. D. The hero was rehearsing lines with the heroine in his tent most of the time. The police arrested the killer. Can you tell who is the killer? Start the countdown. You only have 15 seconds. The answer is, the cameraman is the killer. Because he stated that he'd been shooting in various scenes up until the day of the murder. If all the equipment was stolen, then how was he able to recharge his camera's battery? Before we go to the next riddle, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. An old man lived alone in a small cottage. One certain Thursday morning, while the mailman was delivering a letter, he found out that the old man was murdered. He immediately called the cops. When the cops arrive at the scene, they find 2 bottles of milk, Monday's newspaper, a catalog, flyers, and unopened mail. The police find the suspect. Who is the suspect and why? Think fast, you have 15 seconds. Did you guess? Okay, the answer is, they suspect the newspaper boy, as Tuesdays and Wednesdays newspapers are missing. This riddle number 5 is a mind twister, so let's put those detective skills to the test. One Saturday evening, the police got a call from Mr. Joe's restaurant saying that Mr. Joe's business partner, Mr. Paul, had suspiciously died after dinner. When the police came, they found out that Mr. Paul died due to poisoning. The police saw on the surveillance video that Mr. Joe and Mr. Paul ate together at the same table with their business manager, their accountant, and Mr. Paul's wife, Janice. There was also the waiter who was serving their table. The police had 5 suspects: the manager, the accountant, Mr. Joe, wife Janice, and the waiter. The police saw the last 10 minutes of the surveillance video before Mr. Paul's death to see what all 5 of the suspects were doing and to check for any unusual activity that could have happened at their table. Here are the 5 things the police report noted about the video. 1. The manager worriedly kept looking at his watch after every few minutes. 2. The accountant seems normal and was passing food to everyone on the table. Lastly, he took an apple from the table and cut it in half. He ate half and gave the other half to Mr. Paul. 3. Mr. Joe was quietly and slowly talking over the phone most of the time. It seemed like he was giving someone instructions. 4. Janice kept glancing towards the door as if she was waiting for someone. Janice also whispered something into the waiter's ear and left the table for the restroom. 5. The waiter was serving the food, but frequently kept putting his hand into his pocket. He also accidentally dropped Mr. Paul's fork on the floor and replaced it with a new fork from the kitchen. After the investigation, the killer was arrested. Who killed Mr. Paul, and how did the police solve the mystery? Get ready, your clock is about to start. If you get this one right, you were born to be a detective. Try your best. Do you have the killer? Not yet? No problem, take 5 more seconds or simply pause the video. You can also go back and watch it again. We won't mind. Good luck. Okay, it's time to reveal the killer. The killer was the accountant. According to the police investigation, Mr. Paul found out about his account's fraud in the company and was about to expose him. So the accountant killed him by using a knife coated with poison on one side. When he sliced the apple in half, only Mr. Paul's half was poisoned. Did you answer the riddle correctly? What did you think it was? Please comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Riddle number 6. An old man was found dead in his TV lounge. The victim's friend called the police. He told the police that when he was driving by the victim's house, he decided that he would surprise visit him so they could play a game of chess together, like they usually do. He rang the doorbell and no one answered, so he wiped the frost off of the window to take a look inside. Then he saw his friend's body lying on the floor. He immediately called the police. The officer arrived and arrested him for the murder of his friend. How did the officer know that he killed his friend and that he was lying? Try your best. If you get this one right, you are truly a detective at heart. The answer is, water vapor always condenses to form frost on the inside surface of the window, not the outside. So the friend could not have wiped the frost from the outside of the window to discover the body. A woman was found dead by police. When they inspected her room, there were no windows, no chairs, no tables, and it's almost completely empty except there is just a wet and soaked carpet. They found the dead woman, who obviously hung herself from the ceiling, but they're not able to figure out how this happened. How did the woman die? Murder or suicide? Your time starts now. Answer: she hung herself using big ice slabs, which are now melted. Riddle number 8. A couple reported a robbery. The husband told the policeman that he thinks that the burglar presumably entered the house by breaking through the window, pointing to the broken window glass. The policeman noticed that and told him that it was not a burglary and no outsider has entered his house through that window. What made the policeman so sure? Answer: when a window is broken from the outside by a thief, most of the glass will be found on the inside of the house, not the outside of the house. Riddle number 9. A mock case. A detective agency is hiring agents. As part of their interview process, the agency gives the potential agent a mock case to solve. The case is as the following. There are 5 friends: Thomas, Claude, Philip, Martin, and Stuart. Stuart is murdered. And before dying, he scribbles O-G-H-K-H-O as a clue to his killer's name. Philip is the killer. O-G-H-K-H-O spells out in code Philip's name. Can you determine what method Stuart used to code Philip as O-G-H-K-H-O? This will give your brain a serious workout. Your time starts now. The answer is, in Stuart's code, every letter within the alphabet corresponds to the letter that comes before the letter in Philip's name. So, P comes after O, H comes after G, I comes after H, L comes after K, and I comes after H again, and lastly, P comes after O. O-G-H-K-H-O. Philip is the murderer. Before we go to the next riddle, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Riddle number 10. A man was found dead with a cassette recorder in one hand and a gun in the other. When the police came in, they immediately pressed the play button on the cassette recorder. He said, "I have nothing else to live for. I can't go on." Then the sound of a gunshot. After listening to the cassette tape, the police knew that it was not a suicide. How did they know? Did you guess the answer? Answer is, if the person died, then who pressed the reverse button? Riddle number 11. 4 friends go to a resort, which is 2 hours away from the city for a concert. When they arrive at their destination, they realize they came a day early. So the 4 of them decide to stay for the night. They checked into a hotel for the night. The next morning, the hotel's manager's dead body was found. The police conducted the murder investigation. They asked the 4 friends where they were at the time of the murder. The first friend said, "I was playing on the golf course." The second friend said, "I was washing my clothes." The third friend said, "I was working out in the hotel's gym." The fourth friend said, "I was swimming in the hotel's swimming pool." The police arrested the murderer right away. Who do you think murdered the manager? This one is a mind bender. Put your thinking cap on. Your time starts now. The answer is, the second friend was the murderer. Because he stated that he was washing his clothes, the police made the connection. Initially, the friends came to attend the concert for the day and changed their plans suddenly to check in for the night. They were not carrying any luggage or clothes that he could have been washing. Were you able to make the connection too? Comment below if you were. Riddle number 12. Police got a phone call from Mr. Smith's house that Mr. Smith's brother was murdered. The police had 4 suspects: the gardener, Mr. Smith, the neighbor, and Mr. Smith's personal servant. They all gave their statements to the police regarding where they were at the time of the murder. The gardener said he was cutting the grass in the backyard. The neighbor said he was having lunch with his wife at a restaurant. Mr. Smith said he was busy in his home office in the basement. The servant said he went to the post office to drop his mail. The killer was arrested immediately. Who killed Mr. Smith's brother, and how did the police solve the mystery? Are you ready for the clock? Did you answer correctly? The answer is, the killer was the servant. According to him, he went to the post office to drop off his mail, but the crime happened on a Sunday, and all post offices are closed on Sundays. All's well that ends well, so give your best for this final riddle. Riddle number 13. One day there was a robbery at the bank, and during the robbery, the manager got a call on his phone. The robber told him to respond to the call, but not to mention the robbery, or he will kill him. The phone call was from the manager's wife, who said, "Peter, the living room clock is not working. Can you bring home some batteries?" The manager replied to his wife, Kathleen, "This is not an emergency. I can't help you. Please call me later," and closed the phone. 10 minutes later, Kathleen came into the bank with the police. How did Kathleen know that Peter was in trouble and that she needed to call the police? How? Start the countdown. You only have 15 seconds. answer is, when Peter answered the call, he pressed the mute button at certain times during his conversation with Kathleen, so that the message she heard was,
Kathleen, this is an emergency. Help me.
Hey friends, why not take a chance and challenge each other with mind-boggling riddles and puzzles? If you have an original riddle or puzzle that you want to challenge our audiences with and want to see it on our channel, simply provide us with your script and we will include your challenge video into our future projects in Mr.Animate style. Your name will be featured with your challenge in the credits. Just remember, the challenge should be unique, mind-twisting, and difficult enough to give our viewers' brains a serious workout. Let's see if you internet geniuses can stump one another with your brain-busting challenges. Send us your challenge at mranimate.challenge@gmail.com. Were you satisfied with your performance? Let us know in the comments below, and stay tuned for more tricky riddles. Share this video with your family and friends, and see who gets the most answers and who's the smartest. Good luck. If you liked the video, hit the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click the bell icon to get notifications for the latest videos as soon as we upload them.